Hey family, I wasn't planning to do a video today. It is the 4th day of July. Um, but I was posting to my Instagram stories some things people don't usually think about, or the masses of people usually don't think about on the 4th of July. So, and like I started getting more and more ideas as I was posting and captioning. And came to the realization that, this is usually like if people are getting naturalized, it usually happens on the 4th of July, or typically sometimes. Um, but a lot of people like to say we're a nation of immigrants. It's the nation's birthday, we're a nation of immigrants. And the gist of, because it's like, a couple of, it's like a series of posts to my stories. And I've always cringed when I've heard that because it disregards, and I use the word silence today, it silences the origin narratives of a good 15% of people. People who were classified as African American were always 12%, no matter how many babies we have. People classified as Native American, they're always 1% of the population. And I also included people, like I went to college with, Mexican Americans who knew they were 13th generation Mexican American. And, like I've heard from other Mexican Americans, we didn't cross the border crossed us. So now you got like 14th, maybe 15th generation Mexican Americans, because, I was in college over 20 years ago. And so I included, in that narrative, Mexican Americans who were here, within the current present day U.S. borders, back when it was still Mexico, and they never went anywhere. They know their families never went anywhere. It's the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, or the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty. That's what basically the southwestern part of the U.S., California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, parts of Wyoming, parts of Colorado, a lot of Texas, some of Oklahoma. All of that used to be Mexico. And Mexico had to give up that land, or Spain did. But there are people whose families have been in the same spot. This is what, 1846 to 1848 was the war. So if in 1845 they were there, and in 1849 they were still there, they went from Mexican to American. So yeah, that was the gist of my stories. And I didn't know I was going to have all this other stuff to say, but I did just wanted to reiterate. We're all a nation of immigrants. That accurately describes 70 to 85% of people, but you silence and erase a good 13 to maybe 30% of the population. So stop saying that. That's all I got to say. Like, yeah, you're silencing and you're erasing when you quip we're all a nation of immigrants, because we're all not. Whether you believe that 12.5 million Africans were shipped over from Africa, and that the only Native Americans are the ones who look like Dances with Wolves, Last of the Mohicans, Yellowstone. Even if you believe the narrative we were all taught, you're still erasing that origin story. And if you believe that the indigenous people look like me, all shades of brown or copper. Um, you're erasing the story of indigenous Niji when you say that. So whichever narrative you believe, it's still erasure and it's still silencing. So stop saying it.